No.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to this last Think Sales Live of the year until January with Jeff Gunsberg and myself. We're looking forward to our last guest of the year on this series, Carlos Hesano. Carlos, thanks so much for being on the show today. Carlos is president at DRYmedic Restoration Services. Carlos, it's great to see you. Great to have you on and talk about sales and your business and your journey. But let's dive in and talk a little bit about, we're sitting here today. I always have to check the date because I always forget what date it is. But we're sitting here December 18th. The last 9 months has been crazy for everybody. As a business owner, how have you had to adapt your business and how have you had to adapt your style of selling over the last 9 months?
Wonderful. John, Jeff, thanks for having me on the show. Appreciate the confidence in our abilities and what we've done. So wanted to start by doing that. And John, to answer your question, it has been an excruciating 9 months. And I'm sure that you boys, as well as everybody else watching this and most people in the world, are looking forward to 2020 coming to an end and getting into this new year. Really feels as of recent that we're on like a house arrest work release program, right? You go to work and you come home, and that's really all that's going on. But specifically, and to answer your question, we've had to pivot within the business multiple times and continue to have to do so, starting in what I call the toilet paper days, right? When everybody was fighting over toilet tissue, we were, basically closed down within the business and really just kind of scratching our head saying, wow, what's going to happen from this point forward? What do we do? Fortunately, with the amount of staff members that we have, there were a few people that stepped up and said, we're not letting you close the business down. We're an emergency business. We have clients and people that we're committed to helping through these type of disasters. And honestly, really commend those couple of employees that were able to step up and continue working. And that really was what built and poured the foundation for us to kind of reopen and get back on track with, not losing as much revenue and bringing staff back in and, forced us essentially to make and create protocols to protect our employees and to protect our staff and protect our owners. So we made those protocols, we followed them, we lived by them religiously, and we asked our employees, in addition to that, in their personal lives, to be very careful and respectful of what they're doing when they're not at work, because this is a very strange disease and virus, and till this day, I don't think a lot of people understand what it really does and what its intentions are, right? So the combination of all those things helped us stay focused and stay open. And we were able to successfully build back up to, I'll say, the 90 percentiles of operations pretty quickly. Like by the end of April, beginning of May, we were back up to almost 100% of operations.
All right, Carlos, tell me. So just so kind of everybody listening, obviously you're in the restoration business, but I think it'd be helpful just to kind of lay out, based on what I know of you and how you, operate your business and, handle things. You're amazing. You're on top of stuff continually. You're always somebody who is accessible and available, and it's so important in your business. And I just kind of want to let, the audience know, what are the main things that you're doing and focus on, and how people can, work with you.
If I'm understanding the question correctly, Jeff, we are an emergency-based service. We provide service for all kinds of catastrophes, anything from water damage, mold remediation, fire and smoke damage, asbestos abatement, and we're a full service business, so we take care of all of the personal property in anybody's home or business, as well as the reconstruction aspect to put it back together. And part of being an emergency company is you have to be readily available, and you have to be right by the phone at all times. I've got it attached to the hip, almost to the point where it's a tether, right? That's really what it is. And I guess back to that house arrest comment earlier, the phone becomes that ankle bracelet in theory, because you have to be ready to respond to, homes and businesses that are having issues. And it's very important in our business to prevent what we call secondary damage, right? The longer you wait for water to sit in your basement, or smoke to penetrate through your house, or mold to be in your life, you're causing secondary damage to something, whether it be the structure, whether it be your body, mold is linking back to kind of the coronavirus. Mold is very strange because it has different effects on different people, right? Some people that are in a house or a business with mold in it may not have any type of symptoms, and others may have problems breathing. Their nose may burn, their eyes may water, right? So we always want to be cognizant of those things, and being responsive is a number one priority in our business. I'm sure my wife can tell you the same thing, because there's been plenty of calls that come after midnight and before 6 a.m. that, the ringer's set to a certain volume level, and you got to roll out of bed and roll with the punches.
Do you, just as a quick follow-up, sorry, John.
Go.
I think that, though, I think it's maybe important to say, it seems to me, just based on, what I know of your business, that the end piece that you discussed, the rebuild and construction aspect, everybody's not doing that does what you do.
That's pretty accurate. There are a lot of companies, including DRYmedic, that in our initial growth stages, and around the time that I met John, who helped and added value to our business, through his business as a business coach. At that time, we weren't doing reconstruction, and in this business and any other business that I've ever been involved in, a big stress is always put on focus, right? And being the master of your trade. So what we have successfully done is we've mastered the emergency side. And once we did that, we were able to add other sources of revenue to create that kind of full service program, because it was a combination of a couple things. It is very complicated to do. So we have very, very strategic partners that handle that. But the end user, the client, didn't want to deal with multiple people, right? They want to deal with one company who's going to come in, who's going to handle their job from start to finish. And that is really, it is a challenging part of the business, because it's construction, and construction sucks. Let's just be honest with each other. I mean, especially when it's an unforeseen construction. It's not the hey, I'm looking forward to remodeling my kitchen, and I can't wait to see it. It's, oh my God, I'm forced to remodel my kitchen. Now, in some cases, that could be a good thing for somebody, because their kitchen may have been a little bit old, right? And they may be excited about getting a new one. But for the person that just remodeled their house and the plumber didn't sweat a pipe properly, and they just went through 90 days of construction or 120 days of construction, and then a pipe bursts again, they are not happy. I can tell you that. So, it is a tough part of the business, and not everybody does it, but we felt it was paramount to being able to provide that round customer experience that allows us to take care of them from start to finish.
I want to dive into that. Is you're talking a lot, Carlos, about the client experience. You're talking about having your cell phone at your hip, your ringer on, whether it be even at a lower volume 24/7. People are calling after midnight, before 6 a.m. We're in a world now where the experience of working with companies really is first and foremost. that interactive experiential experience. BMW is moving their dealerships to racetracks because people are walking in having all the knowledge of the car, and they then want to take it for a drive around, a racetrack to give them the ultimate driving experience, which is what they're known for. And so today, I was interviewing somebody yesterday, a guy by the name of Jonathan Silver, and he was talking about technology that was supposed to come out before COVID hit at Metro Airport, that if the three of us were standing in front of a billboard in the airport, each of us would see something completely different. It is hyper personalization, virtual reality, which is where the world is going. And so my question to you is with COVID having accelerated things by 5 years, with COVID making it mainstream for all, economic classes to have food delivered from any restaurant, curbside delivery, no matter what the store, what does the experience look like moving forward? Because a lot of what was done is now the standard, and what's going to separate DRYmedic in the future from the client experience standpoint, which leads to also sales.
It's a great question. It's a complicated question to answer, and only because we're a service business, right? So
well, we like to ask complicated questions.
Yeah, I can tell.
We only ask questions with depth here.
Yeah. First off, the connection to BMW. I'm a big BMW fan, so you hit that nail right on the head. That's for sure.
I do my research, Carlos. I do my research.
I can tell. I
could have pulled any example out. I know my audience.
So it's interesting because we've going back to those protocols that we've created. There's a questionnaire that's asked to the clients before we get to the house, very standard of have you had any symptoms, et cetera, et cetera. We don't need to get into that. And the protocol within the home or business, as far as facial coverings and things of that nature. And I'm a big fan of home delivery. And pre-COVID, I probably was Postmates and DoorDash's #1 customer in Michigan because I was ordering like 5 nights a week. And my wife was on the beta program for Shipt, and when it went into Myers and some of the other grocery stores. So we're a really technology-based family. My home is a smart home as well, and just we really embrace technology. So we were quite accustomed to having things delivered to the home. Obviously, we've seen a big shift, as you've alluded to, in how life is lived every day, right? With everything happening, and to link that back to DRYmedic, we're a service business. You have to see us. We have to physically be in your house. I can't send a robot to do a flood cut in your basement, John, right? Someone has to physically be there to do that. So the precautions that we take prior to arriving at that home or business, and the precautions that we take while we're there, are what are the type of things that we've been speaking about, but that put the client in a comfortable position. And that's all the way down to the level of, our check-in process in the morning. Everybody's temperature is taken. Everybody signs off on a questionnaire every morning that they haven't had symptoms or they haven't been out and about around people that have been exposed. So there's a lot of precautionary measures that are taken that allow us to protect our clients and protect everybody else. But unfortunately, we can't deliver a robot to your door to do the work. So there's got to be human interaction in our business. And, it's I guess it's bittersweet from the standpoint of answering that question, because there are certain things where you're just going to have to be around people, right? And we just have to do the best that we can to protect our clients and protect our staff members.
I like it.
So I was doing my research too. I was perusing the website, and I came across a couple of things that I really like, and one of them, which is kind of seems to be a little bit of a mantra for you guys, is basically people helping people, and it seems what I know of you, that's just generally who you are, and obviously this is your work, but you're a genuine guy who loves to help people and be involved in in that resolution for whatever the issue may be. And, as far as sales is concerned, during this particular time, what has been, because obviously, a disaster alone by itself is terrible, right? But when you couple it with COVID and everything else going on, it's just compounded, and it turns a bad situation even worse. As far as salespeople and communicating with people, how have you guys changed your tune as far as how you're dealing with people, on the sales end of things? Because initially, for us, has changed. Initially we weren't like selling. It was more so just being in touch with people. And then things kind of evolved through COVID, and the sale piece started again. So I'm just curious the evolution of that and how things have changed for you, and how you are selling differently.
Yeah. So people helping people was really
I love that.
just us in a level 10 meeting. We're on the EOS system, and we were looking for something, and it just kind of came out of someone's mouth, and it fit. It was who we are, and I appreciate the acknowledgement that that's what I do from a personal level. Is I'm the guy that will always give you the shirt off my back, and anybody that calls 100%. Me, I'm always happy to help and look forward to helping, quite honestly. And we were able to build a company that has that same thought process. So our culture within the organization is really people helping people, because that's what we're doing, right? People need help, and we're the people that are going to help you. From a sales perspective, we've made some adjustments. Our project managers and foremen don't come into the office anymore. The only people who check into the office are the guys that need to grab one of the production trucks and head off. We've limited all the salespeople within the organization to kind of a work from home type of thing. A lot of our sales are done through calls, Zoom calls, FaceTime calls, and electronically. Fortunately, we have a very robust CRM tool that allows us to do things electronically that a lot of companies are unable to do. This goes from everything to, signing a simple document at the beginning of the process, but also sending a live link to the client and end user that allows them to view their job in real time. So a really cool example of that would be, I'm going to pick on John here. John's got all those nice pictures behind him, and he's sitting in his office, and all of a sudden, a pipe bursts on top of him, and there's water spraying everywhere, right? And this is his office.
Why you gotta throw that story my way?
I don't know, because you just seem like you want to get picked on today, so I'm gonna do it. But
John, if it happens, you know who to call.
Correct.
He knows who to call. And
right.
What you would be able to do, John, with our CRM system is you'd be able to go into the family room or leave the house, and you would literally be able to see the videos and pictures and notes that we're uploading to the system live. So as we're removing things from the home to clean it and to dry it, you would literally be able to see, like, picture just got uploaded, a picture just got uploaded. And it's really allowed us to, I want to use the word remotely, take care of our clients, right? Because they can be sitting upstairs in the family room and see what's going on in the basement almost live, right? As we're uploading pictures and documentation and photos. So that's really how we have taken what we already had in place and evolved to be able to, take care of people with these issues, right? And these, water damage or mold damage or whatever it may be. So the sales guys are respectful of the end user, and what their needs or challenges are. And, they do as much as they can from their houses. And we try to have the least amount of interaction possible. But while keeping that closing rate high, right? Because this is Think Sales Live, and it at the end of the day, it's not all about COVID, right? It's about sales, and sales is about passion, and that's what we try to do, right? We believe sincerely that we're going to deliver the end result that everyone's looking for, and I think that's a good thing to end on, is to say, in my mind, it really becomes that sales is a function of that passion, right?
Yeah.
And if you truly believe something in your heart, you don't have to sell it, guys.
Yeah.
It's there. It just comes out naturally, right? So that would be my sales advice to all the listeners and people on the show is, whatever you're selling, be very passionate about it and believe in it. And if you're not, you're selling the wrong thing.
Yeah. Amen to that. I love that, Carlos. All right. You ready for the 1 minute speed round?
Do it.
All right. It's 1 minute in total. 1 minute in total. All right. Okay. Speed round question. All right. Best piece of wisdom you ever received?
Show me your friend and I'll show you who you are.
Okay.
Most difficult sales lesson you've ever learned?
Don't misrepresent information.
That's a good one.
That's a good one. Favorite book and why?
That would be Robert Kiyosaki and Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Just put a lot of things in perspective on what you need to do to get out of the rat race.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, when I launched my book in New York at the Book Expo, I spent about a half an hour with him, and he was the kindest guy. He was such a great.
He's known to be really, really.
Yeah,
nice.
he was great. He was great.
Someone trying to get into your business, what would you tell them? Somebody coming out of college.
I tell them to start slow and focus on one service offering at a time.
I love it. Carlos, tell everybody how to get a hold of you and who your ideal clients are. Obviously, if they have pictures that have bursting pipes, but who your other clients are.
So at any point, you can visit our website at www.DRYmedic.com. Just type in DRYmedic. We pop up everywhere through Google. Check our reviews out. There's links everywhere to call us. Our key clientele is going to be anyone with an issue, with any type of water damage, any suspicion of mold, any type of fire and smoke, and then asbestos abatement and vermiculite within attics. So we do a lot of business with property managers, real estate agents, commercial developers, and everybody in between.
Great. Carlos, I can't thank you enough for being on the show. Thanks, man.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Fun connecting with you. I appreciate your insight on just the business and sales, and most importantly, what's more important to me is people helping people. So I appreciate your time. Thanks for being on the show. And Jeff, I'll let you and your family who are driving up north close the show.
Yeah, and the dog too.
And the dog.
Awesome. Thank you, gentlemen.
Listen, you know what, Carlos is you're a sincere, genuine, and passionate guy, and you obviously love what you do, and you love helping people. And anyone that has a situation, an unfortunate situation like that, would be lucky to be working with you. And
thank you.
I appreciate you being on the show.
Yeah,
wonderful. Thank you,
Thanks,
guys. I appreciate being a part of it.
Happy holidays.
For having
Happy
me.
New Year, man.
Happy holidays to everybody. Happy New Year. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Everybody.
It was fun. All right.
Thanks.
Safe travels, Carlos. Thanks, brother.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.